I will follow all doctor's orders, my prescribed diet, and any restrictions both within and outside my unit. Penalties will range from 3-7 days to 5-10 days. If a code green is called without the need for physical restraint, either within or outside the unit, penalties will range from 3-7 days to 1 hour to 10 days added to the current phase. If a code green is called with the need for physical restraint, either within or outside the unit, penalties will range from 7-10 days to 10-30 days added to the current phase. If I display verbal aggression towards others, either within or outside the unit, and receive more than verbal warning from staff, penalties will range from half a day to 24 hours to 7 days, or 1 hour to 10 days. If I engage in physical aggression, either within or outside the unit, penalties will range from 7-30 days to 10-30 days, added to the current phase. Engaging in borrowing, trading, selling, or sharing of items, either within or outside the unit, will result in penalties ranging from 7-10 days to 10-30 days, added to the current phase. Bringing contraband to the hangout areas, bringing contraband to the units, or bringing contraband from the OSP will result in penalties ranging from 7-15 days to 30-90 days added to the current phase. Smoking in unauthorized areas will result in penalties ranging from 3-14 days to 10-15 days. And using or attempting to use a socket to smoke will result in an additional 30-90 days added to the current phase. Sharing cell phones in the hangout area, either as the sharer or the borrower, or on the unit, will result in penalties ranging from 48 hours to 5 days, with 7 days added to the current phase. Displaying verbal aggression towards staff or others in the OSP will result in penalties ranging from 24 hours to 5 days, with 14 days added to the current phase. Engaging in name-calling, racial or sexual slurs, or bullying, either within or outside the unit, will result in penalties ranging from 3 days to 21 days, with an additional 30 days to 45 days added to the current phase. Engaging in unwanted sexual advances towards others, either within or outside the unit, or engaging in sexual activities in unauthorized areas, will result in penalties ranging from 14-20 days to 30 days to 90 days added to the current phase. Involvement with drugs or alcohol, either within or outside the unit, by any party involved, will result in penalties ranging from 10-20 days to 30-90 days, added to the current phase. If caught selling or using contraband in the hangout area or on the unit, penalties will range from 14-21 days, with an additional 30-90 days added to the current phase. Attempting to leave the unit, hangout areas, or the building during outings without permission will result in penalties ranging from 1 month to 6 months, with an additional 90 to 18 days added to the current phase. Bringing down mugs, cups, dishes, bags, or purses from the units will result in a penalty of half a day, 1 hour to 5 hours. Destructive behaviors such as throwing, breaking, or hitting equipment, punching holes in walls, or damaging property. If a resident engages in these behaviors, they may have additional days added to their phase, ranging from 10-18 days. If a resident engages in self-harm, the administrator and director of nursing, DON, will assess the resident before they are allowed to participate in activities. This assessment period can range from 10-14 days, and if necessary, an additional 30-18 days may be added to their current phase. New or returning residents will need to be assessed by the administrator and/or DON within 72 hours to 10 days of their placement before they can use the activity area. If a resident requires one-on-one supervision due to behavioral issues, they may have an additional 5-15 days added to their phase, along with 30-18 days. Residents have the opportunity to appeal any suspension time by presenting their case to the board IDT team. However, only the suspended days can be appealed, and the additional phase days will remain the same. Appeals cannot be made for physical, sexual, drug-related, smoking in unauthorized areas with outlets, or property damage on the suspended days. Repeat offenders who engage in smoking in unauthorized areas, using outlets to smoke, physical aggression, sexual misconduct, or property damage will have to start their original phase days over without any adjustments for a month. Residents who engage in smoking in unauthorized areas or attempting to smoke using outlets may have their smoking privileges reduced to 4-6 breaks per day. Staff will need to escort them to the designated smoking area, as smoking is only allowed outdoors and not on any units except the geriatric unit. The residents' progress and goals will be monitored by the team co-captains. Failure to comply with hygiene standards, such as not showering, changing clothes, or cleaning their room after being verbally prompted twice in a day, may result in a penalty of 24 hours to 7 days, along with an additional 10-30 days added to their current phase. In some cases, residents who engage in physical, sexual, drug-related, or property damage behaviors, as well as smoking in unauthorized areas or using electrical outlets to smoke, may have their phase days modified to include an additional 30-90 days or even 30-18 days. Repeat offenders will have even more time added to their suspension from the activity area and their phase. When an offense occurs, the resident responsible will receive a ticket from the facilitator or designated staff. This should be the don or administrator. The ticket will outline the offense, the date, and the additional phase days decided by the resident's IDT team. The added phase days and come up with a plan to prevent it from happening again. The resident will need to sign the ticket, and any refusal to sign will be noted. The ticket will be scanned into the resident's electronic record, and the care plan will be updated accordingly. To empower the resident to make positive life changes while working towards their interdisciplinary individualized plan of care and encourage the resident to work on their goals on each of the 5 domains of their Daily Star Report. 5 daily goals: personal hygiene, home-like environment, social skills, covenant, guidelines, plan of care. You will always give them one personal goal. Each resident on the program gets 5 goals: 1 goal, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1. Warping: each star will warp the resident 1 day, each by meeting day that their resident goal can get 5 stars each points day. The resident can get 15 each day's day. The resident can warp 5 phases: level, safety, amp, security, high acuity relationship and boundaries, medium acuity, coping, illness management, low to no acuity, orbit, space station, LF, RCF, discharge, planet, graduated. In a week's time, 5 goals x 3 points, 15 x 7, 105. In a week's time, 5 goals x 7 days. 35 days warped. World of Focus Store. Each building will have a WAF store where the residents can spend their point. Cigarettes, hygiene products, food products, and all kinds of snacks. They will also be able to purchase MP3 players, where they can spend their point on gift card, where they can order pizza, hamburger, amp, Chinese food. As the new WAF starts in your building, please remember, we don't give residents cigarettes for free anymore. Residents will now have to earn their cigarettes and extra snacks by working the World of Focus program daily. As you see, we make the resident the captain of the journey, the star.